Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 524 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Man, let me tell you, I'm doing pretty good. This week has been interesting. A lot of work, but at the same point, the holidays have begun. Thanksgiving, that was fun. That was a good, relaxing day for me and the family and stuff. Lots of food, lots of good desserts and everything else like that, but mostly just a chill couple of days, including today. But one thing has been remaining constant, and that's I've been playing a ton of Pokemon Scarlet.
Very nice. Very nice.
But other than that, man, I was like, how have you been doing?
Doing okay. About the same as you, man. Just been clanging and banging as always. Just enjoying the calm before the storm. Yeah, like I said, the holidays are here, so things are in my field. Both of our fields are gonna get pretty crazy here. So it's kind of nice having a few days off. I got Wednesday, Thursday off, and then I got the weekend off. So got a nice 4 out of 5 days off, and then the crazy stretch starts here soon. Plus, got winter and shit. So.
Oh yeah, the winter stuff. I mean, my area is going to be probably expecting some bit of snow next week as well. But yeah, it's been kind of those type of time of the year and stuff to where it's starting to get now into like the 20s, the low 20s and stuff like that for night. And on the Olympic Peninsula, man, that's like, yeah, man, in Washington State, that peninsula, that whole like area to where all the winds and stuff, the wind storms of this and that, it's like all freezing weather. It can be pretty stupid.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. We kind of like fluctuate. We'll get cold, then I'll get hot, and then it's just kind of bouncing around. But yeah, no, doing all right. Just kind of enjoyed the Thanksgiving like you. Then had some good food. Ate way too much, as you do. Had the leftovers, best part of Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
I love the leftovers more than I actually love the actual main dinner itself. So, but yeah, thank you guys if you're watching, listening, whatever, wherever you're at. We appreciate it. If you like this show or like what you're hearing or whatever, follow, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. We stream it live every Saturday night, but then the podcast will go up pretty much immediately after on the audio platforms like Apple, Spotify. We're on Google Podcast, stuff like that. We're on a bunch of places. Pretty much, you name it, we're probably on it. Also Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. So if you're interested, please, we'd really appreciate it if you go and follow, subscribe, all those places. But if YouTube really helps. And also if you are watching on YouTube, hey, go listen to us on wherever you use for podcast services. Because every time you listen or download the show, Gables and I get a little bit of money. So we really would appreciate it if you could help us out a little bit with that. We're just two guys that just do this for fun and enjoy doing that. By the way, Gables, like your shirt, buddy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I finally got my Extra Life shirt in the mail just yesterday, and I saved it directly for today because, well, now's the right time to go forth and wear it. So,
Yeah.
For the listeners, I got in my 2022 Extra Life t-shirt that is rewarded. That, in general, is rewarded to people that raised over, like, say, $200 in forms of, like, funds and stuff for their children's hospital of choice. So, I finally decided to upgrade to the actual like $20 like tier and stuff like that, so I can earn like certain incentives if I raise a certain amount of stuff. And yeah, one of the things was this t-shirt and stuff that I'm wearing, which it's gray. It has the logo of the controller and the pair of dice and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it's kind of weird is when it came in the mail and stuff, like some bit of the logo stuff was like,
no, that's supposed to be like that. Mine's the same way.
Oh, it's supposed to be like that. Okay.
Yeah. See, all right. Yeah, cause it's like a graphic C thing. See, like mine.
Oh yeah.
That's the same.
Yeah, I see now. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, that is normal. That's
Okay.
that's like the graphic tee thing they do. So.
Okay, shoot. I thought that the postman messed up messed up again because let's just say the postman around here like kind of at a 50-50 when it comes to delivering stuff. But
yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, whatever. But Gables, you mentioned it at the top. You and I have both been playing a bunch of Pokemon.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
All right.
I talked about it a good chunk last week. I was like 6 hours in. I am now 28 hours in.
Okay.
But I am curious. You didn't have a chance to play it yet, so I'm curious now. How you feeling with this game so far?
All right. So, for dear listeners and stuff, before we even began recording and stuff, Tyler was telling me about his little bits of stuff that what he's been going through and stuff. For myself, I started my playthrough like a little bit like after when he started, and I am also around that 30-hour mark in terms of gameplay and stuff for Pokemon Scarlet. When it comes to the technical aspects of it, yes, there are some hiccups. There is plenty of stuttering I've encountered, drop frame rates and stuff. Like there are times when I'm inside of specific like Pokemon battles and stuff to where I can actually see like clipping into like say like the environment in terms of like when you have like specific camera angles when you can actually manipulate the camera in battle sometimes when you're facing off against other Pokemon, and sometimes I move the camera because sometimes the positioning of it can be kind of weird. So, like, say I can
Yeah.
see the direct like back of a Pokemon, so I'm just viewing its ass or something like that instead of
Yeah.
just going moving out of the way and like. But
Oop.
sometimes you'll have it to where the camera is placed in an awkward position to where you can actually see a little bit of clipping inside of the environment or something like that. But as far as actual falling, like as far as like the actual extreme cases of like bugs and glitches and stuff, thankfully throughout this now 30-hour playthrough, I have not encountered near as much like bullshit as some other players have been. Because here's been my exact experience with Pokemon Scarlet so far. As soon as I've gone through and got my starter Pokemon, my Fuecoco, I decided to go around and just go do the school stuff, the introductory stuff first out of the way, and then I allowed me to explore everywhere. And I got to admit, I'm having a blast catching a lot of the different Pokemon in this game.
Mm.
And the reason why I'm enjoying it so much is like I feel like Nintendo, even though technical wise and stuff, they could have done things could have been done better and like ironed out to a certain extent. I am really enjoying how they've have filled the environment like with a whole bunch of slew of Pokemon, not just like in groups, not just like in things, but they've really made the open world kind of feel alive in certain aspects, I felt.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have times and stuff where you're going through like from town to town or from place to place and stuff where you're accomplishing certain missions or trying to clear out bases or doing gyms and stuff to where you'll encounter like all sorts of like varied Pokemon, and I'm keep on finding all these brand new Pokemon I've never seen before, and it's absolutely a thrill because it's like when you're playing a Pokemon game for the first time and you go into like the wild and you've never seen like a lot of them, and all of a sudden you think of like you see like a new one, it just in the back of my head I'm like, okay, what the fuck is that? And it's like I go into the overworld, I encounter it, and all of a sudden it pops like, oh my god, this is a fucking rat. It's like, oh no, this is a fucking. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, some of the best moments so far that I've had is reading the names of some of the new Pokemon. Like this is gonna be some miniature like spoilers in terms of some Pokemon names and stuff like that. So just be warned, listeners. I'm giving you a little bit of leeway now, especially watchers that are watching now. But there is a certain aspect where I encountered this Pokemon by the name of Shroodle. Right now, for the life of me, I when I saw it initially, I didn't think it was like a rat or anything. I thought it was like a float, like a literally like a little head or something like that on the ground, like crawling. I'm like, what the fuck is that on the ground? I was like, that's weird. And I encounter it, I go into battle with it. It's a miniature mouse with poison dripping fangs and
Oh
stuff. And it's
Jesus.
like,
Okay.
yeah, it was pretty funny. I'm like, I just had a good chuckle of this fucking thing's named Shroodle.
Yes.
uh, oh my gosh.
But real fast for the YouTube video, you video people out there, the videos I'm showing you right now, like the weird glitches. This is just from my game alone.
Yes.
This is like stuff that's non-spoilery that I've taken videos of that I don't want to show to other people. But yeah, so go ahead, though, Gills.
Well, yes. Well, anyway, just to reiterate what Tyler, what you're showing right now, it's like what you're showing, what you've shown me already, and like say with this footage and stuff, and what you're showing the watchers right now on YouTube. It's like this is the most extreme cases here. I have not encountered hardly any of this throughout my
Mm.
playthrough of Scarlet,
Yeah.
and like I've said before, I've encountered like graphical hitches, like frame rate stuttering, and all this and all that. Though I did also do at the beginning of the game to where I turned off autosave, and I've
Yeah.
also like when I feel like if I'm playing past like a certain portion, I have done like closing, like saving. closing out of the game and then rebooting up the game again and
Yeah,
stuff
that's I've
because
been
of the
doing the
whole
same
memory
thing.
leaking issues and stuff. That
Yeah,
has helped somewhat,
yeah.
but it's
And just real fast, I kept autosave on because like if this part it actually autosaved on me after that battle and I got stuck in a loop. I was able to get out of it luckily.
yeah,
Uh, but I kept it on because like after we recorded last week, I didn't have any issues like that.
yeah,
Um, as far as like um this kind of stuff, like I had like the some issues, but uh when one of the parts like it did the hard shut off on me basically, booted
yes.
me back to like the switch menu. So that's part of the reason why I kept autosave on because I thought about turning it off, but it's like, well, I don't want to. I'd hate to be 2-3 hours in, totally forgot to save, and because you know I can't trust this game to run well, I lose all that time. So I kept it on, and like I said, luckily I was able to get out of this. But go ahead, Gables.
Okay. So my initial thought process is like, okay, I knew there were some issues going into this game. I went in thinking, okay, this is probably going to be like a dumpster fire or something like this. This is probably going to be like things happening everywhere, things like being like incredibly crazy. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you listeners and you watchers have both seen the amounts of random glitches, the amounts of like brokenness in regards to Scarlet and Violet. And you know what? I'm not going to go forth and defend anybody in regards to like on Nintendo or Game Freak's end because stuff like that, I mean, it has to be ironed out. Honestly, there had to have been more time put into these games in order to try to iron out those type of stuff. Because even for like mainline releases where we've had before, like say Cyberpunk 2077 and stuff, and like Battlefield
Assassin's
and
Creed
stuff,
Unity.
and Assassin's Creed Unity and stuff, like stuff like this, it's like that's unacceptable regardless of what. So it's like I'm not giving Nintendo a pass for that. This is Pokemon. This is their most premier, like their highest grossing franchise and one of the most popular IP in the
It is
world.
the highest grossing franchise in
Yes.
all of entertainment
Yeah,
ever.
so there really is no excuse for them to put out a game in this state. That's the thing about it. But even though it has a lot of sales success in the first 3 days,
Yeah.
over 10 million
Yeah.
that's sold and stuff like that. But anyway, that's a different conversation in that regards. But going back into what I've gone through and experienced with this gameplay, like I said before, I've captured a ton of Pokemon. I've actually, from my Pokedex that I was able to look at, I've actually caught over 100 fucking 50 Pokemon
Jesus.
already. Dude,
I've only caught
it's
50, but
dude,
I'm not a big Pokemon catcher.
I'll tell you this, man. I'm not kidding. This feels absolutely fantastic when it comes to go forth and exploring like certain forays and stuff to where you can capture all these random different creatures and like it's partially me experimenting with not just like the team in general because I've made it an effort to where it's like I do not want to have like Pokemon that I've known for previous generations on my team. I want to just use the new Pokemon in
Yeah.
this generation because I want to get a feel of like what was put out and I'm really loving the imaginations of a lot of these Pokemon that have come into it. Like, there's this dolphin Pokemon, right?
Mm.
That I've encountered and stuff. Its name is Finizen,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of hilarious and stuff. The way that one evolves though is really weird, and it's like one of those few Pokemon and stuff to where you actually have to be inside of like a union multiplayer and level that up to evolve it,
Hmm.
which you know what? That's fine and all that, but if you're just by yourself and you don't do like union stuff with friends or something, you're kind of like screwed. But no, the amount of creativity a lot of these new Pokemon that Game Freak has actually put into the to creating them, they're pretty fun. Like rats, freaking dolphins, like freaking oh my gosh. And some of the names are pretty hilarious too. Like I came across this fairy creature with this like club. It's called Tinkatink.
Oh yeah, I met them.
I love that. It's a fairy type and stuff. But I'll tell you what though. I have a full party. I
Cool.
have my Fuecoco, which is fully evolved now into Skeledirge. That
Fucking so
fucking thing.
stupid looking.
That alligator is fucking fun to me.
I
I mean,
I love the roar. It looks so goddamn dumb. It looks like it has like a receding hairline.
yeah, I can understand the perspective in regards to that, because yeah, you're right. It does kind of look like that though. But what I love about its like Skeletor's design and stuff like that is because when you see the initial baby design, with Fuecoco and stuff, you have the little sprout at the end of it stuff, and then all of a sudden you have this bird like the nest starting in the second evolution, and all of a sudden the final one. You have the bird and stuff like that, like full of this flame bird, full and center. But Fire Ghost, I mean, a fire
Yeah.
ghost type, dude, it's absolutely awesome to use. I mean, I've had a lot of fun just going through and going through clearing out a lot of the team star bases and stuff like that, and taking out a lot of the Titan Pokemon and stuff. I actually decided to have a Farigiraf on my team because
Oh yeah.
freaking Giraffarigs evolution stuff. It took me like 3 attempts. Like I actually caught like 3 different Giraffarig before I actually got the one I wanted, which is hilarious because I went into one of those like Terra raids. I went to one of the Terra raids. It had like a Giraffarig with like a different type of Terra type like thing, and I caught that, and that actually was better than any of the ones I'd previously caught. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going with you. And I have an electric flying type, right? Near the beaches inside this game, there's this bird. There's this bird like line and stuff like that. That's called like a wattrel,
Hmm.
right? So it's like wattrel, and when it evolves, it's a kilowattrel. So it's a little spin off of like
It's
the
good.
wattage and stuff like watts, kilowatts,
Kilowatts. Yeah.
and stuff like that. But it's hilariously awesome because it's like it is a excellent special attacker, an excellent like electric type. It's super fast. It friggin' hits hard and stuff like that. Like it gains discharge, it gains this and that and stuff. And it was fun because I encountered this Pokemon line early on inside my playthrough, and it's literally been on my party and stuff, and it's been fantastic and stuff. So it's like Farigiraf, this Kilowattrel, this freaking like Skeledirge and stuff like that. The Tauros. Oh fuck. I
Oh.
inside of this game. Inside of this game, I found the Tauros that actually has like of a fighting type, like a fighting type Tauros, right? And it has this move called Raging Bull, to where it takes upon the type of the Tauros it is. So, for example, it's considered normal type, but because it's a fighting type, it adapts to being a fighting type move. So I got this crazy like fighting type move that's like I think it was like 80, 90 power or something like that. Fairly good in that regards. So I have him. I give him the nickname of Duo because the tails and all that other stuff like that. So I have that, this and that. And when I got down to it, let's see, I was experimenting with like the evolution, like for that Wooper, for the Paldean Wooper.
Oh
What's
yeah.
hel- what's hilarious is when that thing evolves, it evolves to something called Clogsire. And what's hilarious about it is it looks like a giant fucking manatee and stuff like that with its freaking like balls with that same old derpy face. And I literally had a good laugh for a good 5 minutes. Oh my god, that's perfect. But
Um. Do you mind said I might miss it? What have
yeah,
you done as far as like the main like the the treat was it Star Team Star what all those guys? How
all
much
right.
of those stuff has how much of that stuff have you done?
All right, I'll delve into this right now. So, in terms of what I have done in progression stuff besides catching Pokemon to go around my party, I have taken out every single Titan Pokemon. So all
Okay.
5 of them I've
Yeah.
already done. I have cleared all except for 2 bases.
Okay.
So the fighting type and the fairy one I'd have left. In terms of gym leaders, I have 2 more left.
Okay.
So in that span of 30 hours, I've got about 6 badges, cleared out all the Titan stuff, and like got most of the bases all cleared out, caught over like 150 some odd Pokemon and stuff. Then I finally got the abilities and stuff for my co-Rhydon and stuff like that to, he could surf, he can go through, he can jump high, and like I'm not too sure of like where at for your progression is besides like in that regards. But one last thing I would like to mention before we can delve into like overall more of the experiences that you've done, Tyler, and stuff
Hmm.
is like I tried the surprise trade stuff
Yeah, I mean I did a little
because
bit too. Yeah.
yeah, because I've heard like mixture of things to where even before the game came out, there's a lot of like hackers and stuff like that that done this and done that to certain Pokemon like to gain access to a lot of this stuff. And out of curiosity, I decided to do a couple of surprise trades. I didn't go crazy with it like I have in like generations past, but I did
Yeah.
like about I think I've done like about a good solid like 9 to 12 surprise trades, and I actually came across a Sprigatito, right? A couple
Oh.
different types, right? So the first Sprigatito I got, its main emphasis for its attack, like the main emphasis of like how powerful its attack is. So for Sprigatito, its line is a physical attacking type. So I would be kept getting natures that would be diminished upon leveling up for its attack. So I surprise traded them and stuff. It was after I got my third Sprigatito and stuff, and I looked at it, and and it was level 1. Obviously, people are doing the whole like breeding to get the most competitive like Meowscarada as they want, and I decided, I'm gonna go ahead and have this on my team because it's another starter.
Yeah.
It's something that I probably wouldn't do if I had another like playthrough of it, because I really wanted to get like a Quaxley and stuff as a surprise trade, right? I did not get any of that, but I got Sprigatito.
That's
And
cool.
what's interesting about this line, Sprigatito and stuff like that, all the way up to like Meowscarada, it is fucking crazy awesome. And the
Nice.
reason why I say that is because there are a couple moves this Pokemon learns before like when it evolves and stuff that absolutely make this Pokemon broken. It has a grass attack by the name of Flower Trick. It's a base 70 attacking move. It's 100% guaranteed to do a critical hit. Absolutely.
Huh.
That and that's the thing. So you go like a 70 power pace grass move, right? And
Yeah.
it 100% crits like all the time. And so with its speed, with its friggin' attack, being a decent level and stuff, and having access to moves like Flower Trick and like Night Slash, which is also a high critical hit move and stuff like that, it's been an absolute fun time to try out this Pokemon. Even though it involves kind of like a thief, like a cross between a thief and like a musician sort of
Yeah.
look and style, and maybe kind of weird to some other people and stuff. As a member of your team, it's fantastic.
Nice.
But anyways, Tyler, I'm interested in hearing more about your perspective, what you've done with Violet.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been playing Violet as I was talking about last week. Like I said, I'm 28 hours in. I have beaten the game.
Okay, okay, that's no
uh,
surprise. You've had you've had like
yeah.
more
I had a head
days on.
start, and
Yeah.
yeah, I had Wednesday off and everything. So actually Wednesday, I played another game most of the day Wednesday, but yeah, Thursday was a large chunk of my Thursday was playing this, and then like because we have to take hour breaks at work now.
Okay.
Like I'm like stuck in the middle of nowhere, so I've been taking it with me, and I just been like doing the auto battles like Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. I just
Okay.
literally for like 45 minutes just did like grinding levels and stuff and fighting trainers, stuff like that. I was showing the videos here for video watchers and but audio listeners, like yeah, I was having a lot of issues with like frame rates and like I falling through the map and like I had issues. I was telling you like
Mm-hmm.
off air where like Pokeballs were like in the ground and like
Yep.
Pokemon were like in like half in the ground and shit, and then a lot of frame drops, stuff like that. But like the game runs as well as it's gonna run, like
Yeah.
when you're like in like mainline stuff or indoors. Um, but yeah, I did so like I did all the things. I did all the stuff for the school. Which I recommend people if you are you don't know what the point of the stuff for the school is. It's actually I recommend it because
It's
you you do the midterms and then like there's a finals, but you have to like it's all you can do more classes as you get more gym battles one and you get a bunch of like experience candies and shit. So like that, I save those up, and if you do like the raid battles and stuff too, you get a bunch from doing those. So
absolutely.
I did a bunch of raid battles and stuff like throughout the game, not even like for that reason, but then I was like,
Oh,
it's actually a really good place to get the feathers that you can use to like up your guys' stats, and then also getting a ton going Gables.
sorry to interrupt you though. In terms of experience stuff, I forgot to mention. You know how you do like the auto battles and you do this and doing that and stuff like that. I did a comparison between that and like battling Pokemon, like actually encountering them
Mm.
the normal way and stuff like that. Because I was doing the same thing. I was grinding and doing this and doing that. I found that I was earning more experience points just like encountering them the normal way as
Yeah, it's
opposed
like
to just doing the
it's
auto
like
battles.
50%. Yeah,
Yeah,
they talk about that because yeah, because you can you see like five fletchlings or whatever.
right.
You can your Pokemon can beat all of them in 10 seconds rather than battling and taking 30. But it kind of evens out a little bit, with the time you save and all that. So yeah, definitely there's a benefit to doing the old school way. But I was just doing it because it's like I'm just
Yeah.
roaming around finding stuff and like just roaming around the world and like getting fighting trainers and stuff. So that's kind of the reason I was doing that. But yeah, like So yeah, 'cause it took me like 20 hours. I did all three. There's stuff you do afterwards, and there's like one more big quest you do afterwards.
Right.
That you do, and that is like probably the coolest thing Pokemon's ever done. Like from a storyline perspective, it's not like I don't know, it's not like the greatest story of all time, but for like Pokemon, for like a story for Pokemon, really, 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 really good. And oh my god, the music, Chef's Kiss.
Absolutely. This music
When
is fantastic in this
but
game.
Gables, you get to let me tell you though, you get to that final area,
Hmm.
that music, you get to there and that music's playing. It's
Hmm.
like near Automata and Pokemon had a baby. That's what this music sounds like. It is
Huh.
awesome. It is fantastic. I love it.
Huh.
Toby Fox, they should just hire him for everything. Um,
If that's Toby Fox's like soundtrack and stuff for this game, then that I wouldn't be surprised that
yeah.
that sounded that
Uh,
awesome.
I love the. I don't really care for the terrestrializing, whatever the fuck it's called. But the music though in the gym battles when that music hits when the final Pokemon from the gym battle, uh,
Yeah.
terrestrializes or whatever. I love that music. It's very much like it
Mm.
reminds me of Sword and Shield a lot. When like you're doing like in the stadium fights and stuff. Um, but I love that music. I wish I did that every time. There would be times where like I'm about to win the fight and I'm like, I just want to kind of chill out here for a second. And I'm just gonna listen to
Dude,
this fucking music.
dude, I know, man. It's like the music is fun and stuff, especially when you have battles against the gym leaders and stuff. That music when it just blares and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's much more catchy than what I felt when I was like playing through Sword and Shield for the first time and stuff. I mean, they had the various like stadiums and stuff for like Sword and Shield and stuff with those big around things and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, some of the gym leaders inside this game, it's some of them are pretty memorable. I
Yeah.
mean, you
Yeah.
have the one gym leader like Iono and stuff, the whole streamer VTuber sort of
Yeah.
like thing.
No.
I thought it was pretty
Mm,
funny. I
mm.
personally had a good laugh or something like that.
I have
But
an agenda against VTubers, so no.
yeah, yeah, I understand you wouldn't like them that much, but like, I mean, here's the thing though. It's like a lot of these gym leaders are pretty varied and stuff like that. I haven't faced off against the last two, but from what I've encountered so far, dude, it's like Brassius is okay and stuff like that. I mean, he's okay. He's like one of the first like quote unquote like gym leaders you'll actually go forth and face and stuff. The whole like the whole gym tests and stuff, which man, the gym tests are fairly easy,
There's so
obviously.
I hate them. I hate them with a passion. I just, yeah, ugh, just stop it.
And that's the thing.
I'm fine with like finding a different thing to do, like with the gyms. Like I'm not like
Yeah.
married to the idea of like you just fight three trainers on the way to the big boss. Um, but like you've done this for like 3 games now, and they're all bad. Like go find 10 floors. No, play hide and seek. No, I don't kick this olive into the goal. No, I don't want to. This sucks ass. Stop it. Like who thought this was fun? Like no real who. It's like a fucking it's like
Dude.
Owlette now. Stop
Yeah,
it.
I can understand that. I mean, I can really understand that, because those gym tests could have been a lot better. I mean, let's put this in for an example. I would have much rather have had like a questionnaire, like say how within in the original game, to where it's like you're facing off against Blaine, right, in his gym and stuff, and you had
Mm,
to answer these questions, or else you face off against a trainer. I mean, I like stuff
yeah,
like
and
that,
you always got it wrong on purpose so you can fight the trainer. Yeah,
Absolutely, or you just
yeah,
never just answer the questions. You just fought the trainers
yeah,
anyway.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
But I will say though the hide and seek one was kind of hilarious and stuff because it was overtly obvious and stuff. Like
yeah.
when you have Clavel, Director Clavel or something like that is literally sitting at a table. He's just right behind the pole. And he's just like, it's like that honestly made me had a good laugh and stuff. But oh yeah, the gym test not really my favorite stuff in the world. The last gym trainer I had to go forth and face was the normal type gym leader, who's it looks like just a regular businessman and stuff with a suitcase and stuff. His hair's all weird
Larry.
and shit. Larry, yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
sounds
love him.
like,
I love him.
dude,
He's
I
just a
love it,
depressed businessman. He's all of us. I love it.
dude. He is actually the perfect representation of a normal type gym leader.
Yeah,
Is
he's
because
the
the
most
normal
normal
type, and he
Pokemon
looks the
character
most
ever written.
average upon all the
Yeah,
fucking gym leaders.
he's the most normal human being ever written by Game Freak.
He is. He's like a normal businessman, and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go forth and do this gym battle and stuff. Okay, now I gotta go back to my job.
He's every 30-year-old Pokemon fan. Larry is all of us. Uh,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
I love that guy. Yeah. Every time I interact with him, he was a good time. Um,
Oh boy.
but Gym
Then
Chess sucked.
let's see. What was the other gym leader and stuff like that? There was the water type one, Kofu. He was okay and stuff. He
Yeah,
was the
I
one
ended
you
up
had to do.
finding him like
Yeah.
super early. I found him like way earlier than you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Uh, and that didn't go well for me. I ended up winning that, but it took me multiple attempts. I was just being stubborn. I'm like, I should probably move on because it was like
Dude.
it was my second gym fight, and he should have been like my
Uh-huh.
fourth. And like I was like
Oh,
high
dude.
20s, I think, and he's like mid 30s.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it didn't. But luckily, I had some good counters for him, but yeah, I ended up barely like it came down to like who got the like on the last turn where like next move wins, and I beat him though, but yeah, the team star thing I could have done without. I really didn't. They're fine,
I'll tell
but
you
I didn't love it. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, man. It's like the Team Star stuff. I mean, it really got. I felt like it did get a lot repetitive to where it was just limited to, oh, okay, let's just beat how many number of Pokemon, and then the
30
time
and
limit.
10 minutes, but it would never take you more than two to like.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it got repetitive to that extent, to where it's like I actually do like the characters of like say with Team Star, like
The
after
characters
you
in
go through
general
them.
are awesome.
Yes,
I love how different all everybody's got different styles. There's so many different like NPCs in this game that I really liked. Um,
yes.
I want to talk about my girl Greta. What's up, girl? Call me. Rika, if Greta doesn't call me, call me. Um, but Rika, yeah. Anyways, but Larry, if none of them call me, you can call me too. You look like you need a friend. Um, yeah, I did. It was whatever. And like fighting the car was kind of cool the first couple times, but I'm just like I'm fighting a car. It just does like all of them do the same moves.
It
Uh,
does have the same moves and stuff, and it's like they're fairly easy to counter too, especially if you brought the right Pokemon to where
yeah.
it was literally the last base that I cleared out was for the dark type, like base and stuff, the whole DJ and stuff. And
Oh, okay. I did him like third.
I did him like I think it was like the fourth or something like that. I think I actually encountered a higher level one first, and then I went back to that, and he was under leveled for
Yeah,
me.
I've done that. Yeah,
And yeah, I cleared him out and stuff like that. And I just basically used Skeledirge and stuff, and I took out this dude literally like within like a couple of hits. And that's the thing, man. It's like I can understand. I get why they want you to go forth and clear out these bases and stuff like that, but it's quintessentially the same style. It's the same thing you're doing multiple different times. It's kind of like how in certain open world games, like say you're clearing out this thing right here,
yeah.
is that, or it's like
But
it feels like one of those,
but at least
honestly.
like some places though, like Far Cry or whatever, when you clear at a base, the bases are
Yeah.
different. It's like no, it's just the same. They're all set up the same.
Yep.
It's just the type
It's a different
changes.
way, but at the
Like
same time, it's like it's still the same
yeah,
concept.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm okay with them. Like I'm not like it wasn't awful. It was just like it was definitely the weakest part of the three pass. I think. And I love the idea of them like we're trying some new shit here. You know, we're throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks, and I'm fine with that.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, I thought the first couple times was kind of cool, and I was just like, whatever.
I
Um,
think personally, dude, I think one of the strongest paths was the Titan
the
Pokemon.
Titans are awesome. Yeah. Arvin, who I at first I was kind of thought was annoying. I ended up
Yeah.
loving him. I love his storyline.
Dude, his
Um,
storyline is amazing, dude,
oh,
and
it's
it hits you, dude. It
yeah.
fucking
Oh
hits you
man.
with the feels, dude.
Right here, right here. Is that where my heart is? Right here, right here. It's right
Oh
in that
god.
general area. But yeah, I love that storyline. Oh man, I want to talk about my new favorite Pokemon.
Okay.
That's not Charmander. My boy Flamigo. I love that guy.
Flamigo.
I love that
Okay.
little bastard. He's so cool. Yeah. What kind of Pokemon is it? What kind of animal is
He's
that
a
again?
fighting type. He's a flying
Is it?
fighting type, I think.
Yeah, yeah. He's flying fine. What the fuck was Flamingo? Flamingo. Flamingo.
Flamingo.
I'm
Yeah.
all fucked up by the pun now that I don't know what the fuck they're called. But I love him. Yeah, he's a flying. Oh, he was him and Floatzel. I love
Mhm.
Floatzel. I got him. I used him like through Sword and Shield, and I found him. I'm like, fuck yeah. I kept him around. My one regret is if I could play this game over again, I put that Pikachu that comes with a mystery gift in my team.
Mhm.
But the worst Pokemon in the world. Uh, I was doing the Elite Four and I fought a water type.
Yep.
I focus a lot on this Pikachu getting its like the defense is awful.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible. Um, I fought a water type. I got one hit by a water type move that was 15 levels below me.
Mm-hmm.
With fucking Pikachu. It's awful. Like the attack is really good and the speed's excellent, but if you don't one hit KO that other one, you're fucked. So like I went for a thunder, got a little greedy. It didn't work. It missed,
Mm-hmm.
and then it countered me with the water type. Like, oh, I'm fine. One hit KO. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's the highest level one of mine. It was like it's like level 78 or 79.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I was done, and the rest. So by the time I beat the game, all my Pokemon are like mid 70s.
Yeah.
Um, when I went to like the end game stuff, so like after you collect all the stuff, and then before you go, obviously you go to Victory Road, stuff like that. Before I went
Uh-huh.
all that, I was like mid to high 60s for everybody, except for Pikachu was like low 70s. But it was kind of
Right.
like I was like chasing good money or bad money after good money after bad. I guess is the frame I'm looking for here. Where I invested so many fucking the experience candy things into Pikachu to get like hoping maybe its stats would get better. That I was like, well, I've invested too much. I can't get rid of this thing now. If I had like a Jolteon that was like level 40, I found an Eevee, and I was kind of like had that at my party for a while, and then like, but it was an Eevee. I just had it in there, and then I ended up just getting rid of it. I evolved. I was like, I could evolve it to a Jolteon and make them my electric type, but I wish I would have just done that instead. But I had a Go-Go. That thing's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
Go-Go is awesome.
yeah, I love that Go-Go. He gets oh man, I got this move where like it holds like the one of the moves that I had it hold is that it's like like leech seed stuff like that.
Horn Leech.
Horn leech well like you have leech seed stuff like that, but it has horn leech now. But like any move that does something like leech seed or whatever, where it takes HP and heals itself,
Yes.
does like double damage or something like that.
Yep.
And oh my god, game changer.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I had Go-Go, I had Floatzel, I had Pikachu, I had the Fuecoco, dumbass looking motherfucker. I had Flamigo, obviously. What was my sixth? Flamigo. I always forget the sixth one. What the fuck was it? Flamigo,
Oh my God, I
Go-Go,
forgot to mention Dockspun.
Darkspun. What was your, let me go. I'm gonna go to my Switch. What was your sixth?
Okay. So my six was Skeledirge. I have Meowscarada right now. Let's see. I have my Kilowattrel. I have Duo the Tauros here. Like, oh my gosh. And that's the thing, though. It's like I keep forgetting about the six Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
It's like.
I'm gonna hate myself when I remember it when I see it here. So I got my ground type. Oh, it's the Lechonk. The Lechonk evolved form of Lechonk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of
He's really
Lechonk,
good because he has fairy moves and also ground moves. So it was a good combo.
like Oinkalog or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah. So those are my six. But I mean, I went through like I liked it because there's definitely more of a challenge throughout this game. Um, even like as I was like in higher level and stuff like that. But I mean, like I was never like in any danger as far as like unless like I
Right.
wandered into like like I said like wandering into like some worlds where it's like, whoops, I'm in the wrong spot here. Like, oh, these guys are like 20 levels higher than me. But as long as I stayed like on the beat path, I was fine. But I got through the Elite Four, no problem. All that. As long as I mean, just just knowing the counter type shit like that. But yeah, I I don't know if I like it more than Arceus, to be honest with you. Uh, I think I enjoyed my time more with Arceus, but I think this is more what I want from the future of
Hmm.
Pokemon.
I see.
Because I want that more. I want kind of the more the Pokemon we know, but like kind of grander. I mean, obviously, like so many fucking issues. They're so frustrating. The looking at this game is not pleasant. Um, but yeah, like I overall, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like there's people that love Cyberpunk despite the issues. There's people that love Unity despite like there's games that come out and there's a lot of issues, but people can get past them. And like you said, like for you didn't run into a lot of issues. For me, like um, I had a ton of issues. Like all the issues are like open world stuff. Like the game actually
Right.
runs pretty doesn't run pretty well, but it runs fine. You won't have like any issues in like as long as you're inside places or like you're doing mainline stuff because it's like when you get to like the cutscenes in the game runs the most part, fine. It still has
Yeah.
frame dips, but like there's no like um, crazy. You're not getting telling like single digit frames. It's like it drops in like 22 frames, 20 frames, stuff like that. But
Yes.
nothing like awful. Um, yeah, I had a really good time with it. I kind of like. I was ready to be done with it by the time I got to the end, but like because like, I'm just kind of like waiting for because I was trying to get that out of the way because Closer Protocol is coming next week,
Well, yeah, yeah.
still had a really good like I put 20 hours into this game in like a week, so um, that's not very common for me to do something like that. But also having a bunch of days off the last week, but yeah, really good time. This is like I said last week, they found a good base here. It's just a matter of like the next game needs to be done, and I hope for their sake like that someone says something and they like fix it because like I don't think this isn't like damaging like extremely damaging yet, but I feel like we've had Sword and Shield had some issues,
Yeah.
uh, Arceus had some issues, and this one
Yeah.
definitely had a lot of issues. Um, and I think that's something to work on. And I know like people are always quick to point out like Nintendo that like people always like what the fuck Nintendo and it's like well Nintendo only owns a third of the company whatever. But like problem is majority of people like this is like I said the biggest IP in the world for entertainment. Um, and how many of those people actually know that Nintendo doesn't just outright own Pokemon? Not a lot, probably. Probably most people say this, they've seen Pokemon Nintendo. They just assume Nintendo owns Pokemon. So this reflects badly on them, and especially
Yep.
on their hardware, as people are getting frustrated with the Switch, and we've seen more and more and more of these games not run as well, and we see more and more kind of people being like, "Hey, like, when's the
Absolutely.
next thing coming?" And this,
There
like,
are
go ahead.
That's the thing, man. It's like there are other RPGs on the Nintendo Switch that look
Yes,
better, that run
Xenoblade.
better.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, even from Nintendo themselves inside of their first party development that run better than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Good example, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
That's an open world RPG that has fantastic story, great characters, like good combat and stuff like that. And yet that performs well.
Mm-hmm.
It performs better than Scarlet and Violet. That tells me a couple of different things, and one that remains consistent is this needed more time in the oven to be
Yeah.
fine tuned. Absolutely needed to be fine tuned.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, obviously this game wasn't done, but like this is what I mean. We're like people like they see this stuff and they're like, oh, that's the Switch. It's not doing great. And like definitely we need better hardware at this point now.
Well, yeah, there's
We're
no
we're we're going
disputing
in.
that now.
Yeah, I mean we're heading into year 7 here,
Mm.
in a few months. Um, but it just kind of it's one of those things where this reflects fair or not on Nintendo poorly. And I feel like yeah, if you're Nintendo here, you're like all right, like you need to like do something here. Like you need to like step in. Like hey, then you look at like Monolith like they help with like Zelda. They've helped with support a bunch of studios
Right.
when it comes to making games on the Switch that make them run better. And it's one of those things where it's like if they care, they need to like say something here and like work on this and fix this now because another one of these comes out like this, then we got a major problem here
Yeah,
because that just
absolutely.
shows that you don't know, which is ridiculous, or you just don't give a shit. And I think what's concerning is like when we talk about games like Cyberpunk and Unity and stuff like that, these games come out and they're just not done. They're major issues. Everybody's talking about them. The studios come out and they like talk about it and they apologize and stuff like that. We're over a week out of this game being
And
out.
Nintendo has said nothing.
Pokemon Company, Game Freak, Nintendo, not a fucking word. All we've heard is it sold over 10 million units, which people are like, oh, well, look, the people complain about this, but still, like, okay, we need to stop, like, when it happens, because, like, remember, Cyberpunk sold, like, 20 million copies in the first month?
Yep.
Problem is, most of those sales are pre-orders.
Yep.
And the reviews didn't even come out until Thursday afternoon when the game came out on Friday at midnight.
And
So,
traditionally, that's generally not a good sign if like the reviews are not out like that close before
yeah.
it's released. Like what? Like not even
Usually
like
it's
what a
Wednesday for
day?
Nintendo games. Nintendo
Yeah.
games are usually Wednesday, but yeah, like usually the more leeway we have for reviews to like release date, the bigger gap. That usually means you're pretty confident about it. Like look at
Right.
like God of War. I'm not trying to like because I love God of War, but I'm using this example not as a fanboy thing. God of War, the reviews came out over a week in advance.
Absolutely.
Like, and they like the codes went out 3 weeks out in advance, and they had people tweet about the fact they're playing the game 3 weeks out. So usually when that shit happens, you're pretty confident about your game. So
Absolutely. With
um,
Nintendo, it wasn't like that. I mean, people didn't get their review codes until like a week before the game
it was Friday
released.
night the codes went
Yeah.
out. So people like so Rebecca Valentine put this whole thing out about how like because people were upset with her for not having a review ready to go on Thursday morning when the game came out on Friday. It's just like we've had less than a week to play it. I spent my entire weekend playing this game, and the online wasn't even functional until the game launched. So it's just
No.
like so I mean that's fair. You can't expect someone to play a 30+ hour game and then without just like speeding through it, which isn't the way to play these type of games. And
No.
then also on top of the play through this game, put your thought like have your thoughts ready to go, write everything down, have an article and a video ready to go in less than 7 days. So to get off that high horse there for that, but yeah, I like I said, I don't think this one will hurt it potentially, but if this the next one will, I think. And obviously
Hmm.
kids will always buy these games. I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's gonna be a dead franchise, but it's the thing I always talk about, Gables. Like we talk about like Assassin's Creed Unity that comes out and it's awful. But at the point when it came out, it was one of the best selling Assassin's Creeds ever because it came after Black Flag. And then the one
Right.
after that, I even looked it up, Gables, because I didn't want to ask you again, and I totally
It's
forgot it.
Syndicate.
Syndicate. Thank you. I want to say Revelations. I looked it up because I was going to use this example, and I still forgot it. Syndicate came out, and even though Syndicate was actually a really good game, it was one of the worst selling Assassin's Creed games because it had to pay for the price of Unity,
Yep.
and still to this day, it still kind of pays the price because of Unity because it had to fall off Unity. Look at Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 Gables was the best selling Resident Evil game and Capcom game ever
Yep.
until Monster Hunter World surpassed it just a few years ago, and Resident Evil
Wow. Yeah.
7 just passed it in total sales for Resident Evil last year. So
Wow.
you look at like in Resident Evil 7 didn't have a great like it sold well at the beginning, but it had to pay for the price of 6. Um, so people are gonna stop like, oh, it sold 10 million copies, so obviously people don't care, or obviously it's fine. It's like, well, okay, look at me, how many pre-orders like you look at Call of Duty sold over $1 billion in profits in the first 3 days. That wasn't word of mouth. That was fucking pre-orders. So,
Yep.
like we got people like you can stop picking. Like I said, Cyberpunk sold almost 20 million copies in the first month, um, and probably because the only issue was we didn't the only review codes that went out were PC, which that was version was done, and
Mm.
then the majority of people that bought that were buying pre-orders. So we all need to calm down about that. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the game's still great. They have the formula. It's just a matter of finish like how the game needs to be properly done, or they need to like I don't know. I don't know. It was too ambitious or what? I don't know. Which is crazy to say because that game chugs. Like the frame
Yeah.
rate isn't great. The graphics are pretty piss poor. And I'm not like a graphics snob by any stretch of imagination. Like I'll play games on. I don't care. Anyway, I was playing Vampire Survivors before we hopped on here. So, um, but it's that game was just pretty ugly to look at. And but we need to move on because we were
Okay.
48 minutes in. Gables, I want to talk about real fast here. I've been playing one other game. I've been playing Sommerville. Game I'm looking forward to for quite a while now. It's the Jump Ship people. This is the former people from Playdead who made Limbo and Inside. Started the new studio and put this game out. It's on Game Pass. It's on PC. But played through it on Wednesday. It took me like 2 sittings. I think it probably took me 3.5 4 hours. I want to say, but if you could
Okay.
probably get through it faster. Um, it's more of it's just kind of like an inside a limbo style game where like there's an alien invasion. It's kind of like War of the Worlds, but where like you play as a husband who gets separated from his wife and they have like a child and a dog, um, and they get separated. It's a matter of him trying to like find out like something happens, like so they're like watch TV and all of a sudden like the world gets invaded by aliens. Something happens. He wakes up. I don't know how much longer later, months or years or whatever, and his family's gone, and like the world's pretty much fucked. It's just a matter of like solving puzzles. What's interesting with this one though is you go from right to left instead of left to right.
Hmm.
Pretty much that's the entire game. And like there's a lot of puzzles. Like you end up like getting like this little like thing in your arm where like that's how you solve puzzles. Like you have to use like light sources to like you get like some alien powers. It seems like to solve puzzles, and you get like different abilities throughout you go. There's no like combat. There's no talking stuff like that. Much kind of the same as like Inside or Limbo. And the game's just kind of alright. You know, if like say Inside is like a 10 out of 10 or Limbo's a 10 out of 10, this is like an 8 out of 10 of that version. It's like 80% of what you want. It doesn't, there's like a massive hole there. I feel like for like if you want that style of game that we haven't, like we've seen a lot of people try like Typo Man, a bunch of other games like have done that style, like try to copy that formula, and just haven't uh just haven't hit. They've been pretty mediocre to bad. This one's kind of like I don't know, like the 8 out of 10 version of that. Some frustrating bits and pieces there where it's like I got stuck for like on multiple occasions where like I feel like it was like I was I had the right idea, but like you had to like hit something at the right angle to like make it to trigger that thing to happen. Like
Right.
put whether it's pushing something or like a puzzle, like moving something around or whatever. Where it's like I was trying to like that was my initial idea. I was like, oh okay, well I guess I can't do that. Like oh this doesn't work. I was like oh, and then I got frustrated a couple times. I'm like what the fuck am I doing wrong here? And then a couple times I had to look up. I'm like what the fuck am I doing wrong? I'm like oh okay, I just wasn't hitting it from this exact point, which is kind of frustrating. This one does the like 3D, so you can move forward and backward as well, and that make it kind of frustrating because like I don't know like like this game uses light to like kind of point you in the direction you got to go, but it's also the thing you use to like solve puzzles. You have to use light to solve puzzles, so it's like
Right.
okay, are they telling me to go this way? Or are they telling me that I need to use this light to solve this puzzle around here? And that kind of got me stuck a couple times. But yeah, I mean, overall it's really good. There's like, the story's pretty interesting. From what from what you gather from this, 'cause, like there's no talking, there's nothing like that. It's just kind of figuring things out just by kind of watching it. Like kind of like Inside Limbo, where it's like you don't really have an idea what the story is. Limbo, you have a general idea, but not really. Um, but I didn't really I don't know like. It was good enough that like, I was interested enough that like I heard it was short enough that I'm like okay I'll at least beat it, but like if it was like it's one of those things. If this was like an 8 to 10 hour game, I would definitely would have fallen off. And it did the thing. I hate. This is maybe more of a me thing. I hate when games do this though. When you get to the ending, and they let you pick what ending you want. Basically, it's like, do you want this ending? Do you want that ending? This has 4 different endings. Kind of like in a way, like like the Mass Effect 3 ending, where it's like you
Yeah.
want this light or that light. I hate that. I just like in these type of games, like I either just have like an ending or like things you did throughout the game dictated that ending.
Right.
Like
That
I
would
hate,
be fun. Yes.
yeah, like I like when like I play games like that where it's like the decisions that you made throughout have now this is the ending you're getting. I hate when it's like you get to the end, it's like all right, cool, well, pick which one you want. Uh, and this one has 4 different endings that you could pick from. I ended up just doing all 4 of them because it takes like you can just reload the last checkpoint, so I can just watch all 4 of them and it's whatever. Um, but yeah, and the biggest pet peeve: you can't pet the dog,
Oh, that's a
which is
shame.
how do you have a game where the dog follows you around and you can't pet the fucking thing once? What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed by it, but it's not bad. But I think if you are somebody that's like wanting that like your fix a little bit for Inside and Limbo, I mean it's been 6 years since we had Inside. Um, it's on Game Pass. Check it out. At the very least, people might like it. Like I've seen some people are a lot higher out than a lot of other people, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't blow me away, but I don't know. It's like an appetizer, I guess, for or that. But Gables, let's move on to some news here.
Got it.
Um, we got some Game Award rumors. It's that time of it's kind of like E3 comes up, stuff like that, Summer Game Fest, whatever you want to call it. We get to like that those couple weeks going up there. We hear a lot of stuff going on. Well, apparently, this might not be Game Awards related, but apparently there might be some Diablo 4 previews coming out.
Okay.
Either this week or next week, this coming week or next week. They should be coming before um, before the Game Awards, which are December 8th. So not this coming Thursday, but the following. Um,
Mm,
Final Fantasy 16 pre-orders are scheduled to go up either on the 7th or the 8th. No idea if that means 7th or 8th, like that's like Japan time or whatever. But like I said, the Game Awards is on the 8th. So and games don't go up on pre-order like on PlayStation stuff like that on Xbox until there's a date. So
Okay.
maybe we get a date at the Game Awards is what I'm thinking. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is scheduled to be at the Game Awards. Apparently we'll get gameplay, a date, some pre-order stuff. Tom Henderson initially leaked that. Jeff Grubb corroborated with that. That's a hard word to
Okay.
say. But apparently that game was for a long time. It's been kind of reported that it's supposed to come out in March. So cool. And then Ed Boon's been tweeting. He is like one of the head guys from Mortal Kombat. He's been around since the beginning. He's been tweeting a little bit, doing some teases. But he's done that stuff in the past. So there's been some hubbub that possibly Mortal Kombat might be talked about at the Game Awards because Mortal Kombat 11 was initially announced at the Game Awards 28, 19, 2019? 2018. It came out in
Yeah.
2019. That's what it was. So yeah, that game I think had like a 4 month from announcement to release. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gibbles, any of this stuff doing tickle in your fancy?
Hmm. All right. When it comes to like the whole Ed Boon stuff, I think that was kind of interesting to see a bunch of his tweets. I think one of the tweets was kind of funny. It was like Injustice 3 or Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, all
That
the
was one of
rumors
the
out
ones
there
I
has been
initially saw,
yeah
and I'm not too sure if there's gonna be a lot of leeway or something like that because I kind of firmly believe they're doing another Mortal Kombat like for their next
the
project,
rumors have been
but
Mortal Kombat yeah, and it's
that's what I'm speculating anyway. But I know that with the last game and stuff, they tied up through that ethos instead of that like iteration of Mortal Kombat because it's like they had the original the original games and their ethos and stuff, then they transformed that from like Mortal Kombat 9 all the way to through 11 in terms of that whole escalating storyline. Now we got like a brand new type of thing going on inside of that stuff. So
mm,
if we hear anything like Mortal Kombat related, that would not surprise me. But in terms of other stuff, it wouldn't. I really don't care in regards to what type of release dates they'll announce for, say with Final Fantasy 16 or like with Diablo 4. I mean, we are expecting that we're going to be hearing more of those games coming forward, and possibly if it's at the awards or if it's like say a week or so later. I mean, that's fine and stuff, but yeah, I just don't feel like the Game Awards is going to be having that many fantastic, like, great announcements personally,
yeah
because it's it's kind of like the same thing that we had with E3, to where we had some announcements and stuff, but yet other companies can go forth and announce it on their terms and terms
yeah
now for their own YouTube or social media stuff.
yeah, and we definitely have this issue where there's like it seems like there's more of them, more like
Mm,
all the studios are like all the publishers are doing their own thing on top of that, but also like we see like more Ubisoft forwards they're doing like quarterly for a while. Square Enix has done their own things, Capcom's done their own things. So like now instead of like it was E3 and Game Awards, now we have like they're all doing their own things. Then we have Summer Game Fest. Then we have E3. Then we have what's the thing? Opening Night Live in August and Game Awards. So things have been spread a little thin. So yeah, I think we'll still get a couple pretty big announcements. I think like of the three of like the Jeff Keighley things, Summer Game Fest, Opening Night Live, and this is definitely like the bigger of the three because it also helps out.
right.
It's kind of the midway point between E3, between E3s and or Summer Game Fest, whatever you call them. So a lot of people probably want to like this is the last chance to have a lot of eyeballs um, on gaming and for the next few months basically. So if you have games come out in the first 3-4 months of the year of the following year, probably the best spot for it. So I could definitely see like Star Wars that makes sense there. Um,
I'll tell you one thing that we're probably not going to see, and that's anything, say, majorly Nintendo related,
no,
which
no.
maybe like Legend of Zelda. I don't think we're going to see anything in
Well,
regards to that.
they ever since Reggie retired, they have not had Nintendo stuff there. Like they'll
That's
do
true.
commercials, but they haven't done anything.
That's
Um,
highly true. I mean, last
I
year was
think
a good example of that.
last year we didn't have anything. I think the last big thing we had was Sephiroth reveal at Game
Yeah, that was like
Awards
what,
2020.
2020?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is when you go into this Game Awards stuff, I mean, have extremely low expectations because I
Well, for
really,
Nintendo for sure. Yeah.
well, yeah, for Nintendo and stuff, but
Xbox has always done. I think They've always said like last year they've had Hellblade there last year.
Yeah, they had the
Um,
gameplay of Hellblade too.
we've had
Yes,
they announced the Series X there. Like,
yes, they
um,
did.
yeah, they've definitely been more involved. Like Sony and Xbox have been more involved with it. Probably Xbox the last couple years more heavily, but yeah, like I'm definitely like keeping like I said expectations just because like I said like it feels like we're just kind of getting like big game announcement stuff is kind of getting spread thin. And also, we're in this
Yeah,
weird issue where a lot of games have been revealed already, so there's not really too many big
yeah, there
reveals
really
left.
isn't too many
Um,
surprises.
because like I said, like all these companies announce games super early because they're trying to hire people, and also COVID has kind of made these games that probably would have already been out by now, and they'd be on to the next thing. Those games have been spread out even longer, so we're in that weird gap of like
Right.
these games probably would have been out a year ago, but COVID hit, so now they're not out yet. So yeah, I think I wouldn't be shocked if like I think we'll get one or two pretty decent Xbox things, and maybe a Sony thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not like I said, I'm not like super duper jazzed or pumped for like huge awesome announcements. But if we get a couple big bangers in there, that'd be pretty sweet. And apparently the Star Wars thing is supposed to be about 30 minutes into the show. So that's pretty
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
That's from Tom Harrison. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Keighley switches it around just to fuck with him a little bit. Um, but let's move on, Gables. Some pretty depressing news here. Um, NCAA football.
Yeah.
My sweet baby boy. It's supposed to come out. We're supposed to get it back with EA this coming July. That has now been delayed to 2024. No real reason why. I doubt. I mean, it's probably just need more time. But I mean, they announced 2023 before like COVID and all that hit. So
Yeah.
probably that's probably why. Also, they're kind of building a new formula here as well. But they did announce that like Dynasty mode and Road to Glory mode would return. So that's pretty sweet. Those modes are awesome. I always love like Road to Glories where you just like create your own player and
Yeah.
you play through high school, and then you go and you only control him. Dynasty is basically just a franchise mode. Um, I am whatever. I mean it's been a decade already. We haven't had one since 2013. So what's another year at this point? Some of the stuff I've been kind of hearing for a while now, just kind of searching around, talking to people, stuff like that, is they've run into some issues with like the NIL, which is like the name, image, and likeness,
Okay.
which is kind of like it's kind of like the Olympic rules, basically that college does with the athletes, where the schools don't pay you, but you're able to make money off of like doing like events for like you advertising events. You can spawn do a commercial for a fucking car car shop or whatever, stuff like that. Which it's not been. Basically, people are just now. It's just like people like boosters for school. They're just paying kids to go to their school. Um,
Yeah.
but that was obviously the reason why initially that all the college games were dropped because of the name, image, and likeness, stuff like that. Where literally EA was putting these games out, and like 2K was doing it as well, with the 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 players in the game will look exactly like the players in real life, but and also like the same jersey number, all the same things, but they would not call them by their real names. They would just call them
No.
QB number 3, or they generate fake names for them. And it's like okay, they got away with that for a very long time, and finally
Yes,
people
they
like
did.
kids were like, lot of, like once they got out of school, I think they sued NCAA for basically using the likeness not paying, which is that's fair.
That
Uh,
is fair.
so that's a big reason why they were gone. So then they've run into it. Sounds like a little bit of an issue. I don't know if this is why the delay is, but like trying to figure out how the best way is to get because obviously you got to pay these kids. You want to put these kids in the game. You got to pay them money to put them in the game. So it's like
Yeah.
an issue of like trying to get all the schools on board and also how many kids do they pay because there's 120, 131, I think, Division One schools. Uh, and each school has like 75 players. So that's a lot of dough to be given out. So it sounds like they're trying to like they're mainly focusing on like players that are like the starters and like the backups basically. So the two deep. But like if you're like third, fourth string or like you're redshirted or whatever, like you're not getting anything. And they're typically paying them in the 4-figure range. So
Oh,
less than
wow.
10,000, more than 1,000. But we got to pay, you know, I don't know, 131 times by say 40. That's a lot of people.
It
So
is.
I don't know.
Absolutely, it is.
Um, so I had no idea, but it's a big bummer. But that's, I mean, whatever. It's been a decade. What's another year at this point? And Gables, we have this one last little story here.
Okay.
Sony apparently is banning shovelware, so this has been a big issue going on. Not a really big issue, I guess, today, but it's been an issue for a lot of people um, for a while, but definitely in the last couple of years, it's been popping up. So PlayStation, this hasn't been like confirmed, like they haven't announced this, but this has been like some stuff that's been leaked to some of the, I guess so they sent a letter to developers. I got some stuff here out from this letter that was given out to people. Um, so it's kind of reading through this article here. So PlayStation has sent out a dev letter to its developers, knowing that shovelware games that are reskin non-games and games just made to give people a platinum trophy are going to be either shadow banned or delisted with a chance that the developer being banned from publishing games any more games. So some of the stuff that's in the letter itself, SIE strives to ensure that customers can search and discover the full breadth of experiences on PlayStation and that partners have a fair means of being discovered when partners oversaturate or spam PlayStation Store with many variants of the same type of content. It can negatively impact both the customer and partner experience. When SIE reviews the content submitted to PlayStation Store, products that have following characteristics are identified as spam or repetitive content. Products whose functionality and or assets are copied or are not meaningfully meaningfully different from products already published on PlayStation Store, irrespective of publisher of record, multiple concepts and product variants published by individual partners that have duplicative functionality or experience differentiated only by minor variances or functionality or assets. It's basically like asset flipping. And also they talk about like, making it like, or having different trophies that all kind of mean the same thing. So
Right.
basically, kind of the big part of here is that like when they like review process. So a big thing they've mentioned that they'll do is like if you do this, for your games, PlayStation said that they'll restrict like discoverability, so you won't show up in like the new release section. And if it
Right.
continues, they'll start delisting your games from the store and possibly suspend or terminate that developer from the platform. So, yeah, this has been an ongoing thing. Like they have like the Stroke the Dog game or like Jumping Taco and stuff like that. Or my
Or my
favorite
name
game,
is Mayo.
My Name is Mayo, top 10 game of the year, all three of them. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious what your opinion is on this one.
Okay, here's my opinion upon this one. For years, when it came to any type of gaming platform, any type of like online like gaming platform, let's say like with PSN or with the Nintendo eShop or with the Microsoft Store or something like
Steam.
that, or the most infamous one, Steam,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the Steam Greenlight shit that went on for a while. When you go onto their front page for the new releases and stuff, you expect to see like the games and stuff like that the big hitters and stuff like that are the ones that you could see these like try to find these hidden gems fairly easily and stuff, but they would be buried after like page after page of shovelware garbage. And obviously, PlayStation was not the exception. Nintendo definitely wasn't the exception and
No.
stuff. Every time you go to a freaking new release in regards to the section for new release games and stuff, you see like about a good solid 10 to 20 games that are freaking shovelware every
Mm-hmm.
week. I'm not kidding. It's ridiculous. I'm glad that Sony is making an approach and making a move in regards to lessening the amount of shit that goes on for their digital games every week. I do like this. I mean, in some aspects and stuff, yeah, sure. You could put out games and stuff that have like easy trophies and stuff to acquire in that regards. But in the regards to what initial things they are addressing in some of the shovelware, like the ones that like My Name is Mayo or like whatever and stuff, to where you basically play it for 5 minutes, you get a platinum trophy and stuff. I'll be perfectly honest, man. I mean, I'd be happy just to get rid of a lot of that excess garbage that filtrates and stuff on these digital storefronts and stuff, because it buries the hidden gems. It buries the games that should be getting the highlights. Obviously, good point and example and stuff. Games like say like a Hades and stuff like that, Hollow Knight. Those things are well-known games, and obviously those are high scoring and stuff. But what I'm saying is like for lesser indie games, like lesser known indie games that are great, but
Mm-hmm.
you would not be able to search for them because of how much shit is buried on top of them and stuff and very hard to try to search for. in some key aspects and stuff. I mean, the most beneficial thing I'm seeing here in terms of like what any freaking company has done right now is Sony trying to do this, and obviously Steam has tried to go forth and try to take off like all this crazy shit and stuff when they got rid of their Steam Greenlight thing, but what is the underlying issue though in terms in general and stuff is gaming companies need to do a better job in filtrating and monitoring what type of shit goes on their digital storefronts. It's because not only is it hurt like their consumer base in regards to like their thoughts and perceptions. I mean, think of it this way. It's like if you're a company and you put out a game system and your digital storefront has new releases, the last thing you want your customers to see is these like $2 to $5 games or something like that that they instantly spend. Oh, okay, it's only $2 to $5, and all of a sudden they get ripped off because it's a piece of shit. I mean,
Well, I mean, that those kind of games you see like Jumping Fish, Jumping
yeah,
Taco, like that's on you if you buy that, think it's a good game.
absolutely,
Like
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you like look at
understandable.
the screenshots, look at the game, like that's on you. For that part, I don't feel bad for the customer if they bought that thing thinking that
Right,
it could be a good
exactly.
game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like. Well, that's the thing, though. If a customer is willingly going through and buying those type of games on purpose and stuff like that, I mean, hell, whatever. But at the same point, I wouldn't be too surprised, or I really wouldn't mind if, like, say, a lot of those like a lot of these games just disappeared overnight or got delisted or something, or if a lot of these type of games and stuff, like even a lot of their developers or something like that were just blacklisted from the thing because it's like in the end, I feel like it is a better option in regards to getting rid of a lot of that stuff and just dealing with what you got going though. But at the same time, I mean, I can understand how it would create some conflict of interests and sort of like say that people that are willing to pay and actually get a lot of these quote unquote easy gets, these easy completions and stuff, these easy
Yeah,
trophy or achievement pop-ups and stuff like that, but yeah, I just hate them. I absolutely do.
yeah. I mean, it's fair. Like, yeah, I don't love that they're on there either, but I don't like this as the option. I think the big issue with all these storefronts is they're just bad stores.
Yeah,
The
I can
problem
agree with
isn't
that too.
these games being on here. The problem is these stores suck.
Yep,
All of them. I mean, you look at Switch. Switch is probably maybe the worst.
absolutely.
They're just especially like because games, people are willing to buy. Like, you see all these like mobile games that are free to play on mobile and they get put on the
Hmm.
Switch for $10. Like, or people like put a game on sale for a penny, just because they'll, and then for like 2 days, and then it'll jump up to number one on the most bought whatever ranking, and then they'll put it back at full price. People, oh, this is the most bought game on here. People must really like this, and they'll spend $20 on it, but really they don't realize
Absolutely.
is a million people bought it for, well, maybe not a million, but a bunch of people bought it for a penny, 2 days ago, and they don't know that. So there's definitely worse things out there. And we even heard Nintendo's working on like getting rid of like the like no, what's the like hentai games, stuff like that. Like that stuff I can
Oh yeah, that's a lot of
maybe
that
understand
stuff.
a little
Yeah.
more because like that, like Nintendo is more of a family platform. Um, but I don't. I just my big thing is like if you don't, people don't like these things, then like the reason they keep making them is because people are buying them. Um, so like I don't have
That's
a
true
problem
too.
with like, yeah, is it awesome? No, but like people are buying them, so it's like I don't know. Like I think maybe yeah, like there's things we need to there's things that they need to do to fix this.
Right.
And like I said, outright banning these games isn't my favorite option. Like I'm
No.
not gonna be sad they're gone. But yeah, like I think it's kind of shitty they're gone. Um, it's a band aid on a bullet hole here, where it's just like there are so many fucking other problems with these goddamn stores that like the Xbox store is a fucking mess. Uh,
Yes.
like I said, they trying to find anything, even like on Xbox or like Nintendo, where there are no like Nintendo doesn't have any fucking trophies or anything. You go on there, you can't find a goddamn thing on there. You go on Xbox, you go on like going through there, that's a fucking nightmare too. Steam, I don't even want to fucking look at that fucking thing.
Unless you
Uh,
know the name of a game that you want to
yeah,
look on any of these platforms, you're going to be spending anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour trying to find the specific game
yeah,
you want that
yeah.
you wanted to buy and play.
And I also like how many people actually go to new releases and just look. I feel like not many people actually do that on a regular, like a semi-regular basis.
I feel
Like,
that way too at times, dude.
so I think it's kind of overblown where like you just go to like the storefront and you see new releases and you see a bunch of jumping whatever games on there. It's like that. I think people probably wouldn't even notice the new release section was there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just makes sense. I don't. It's they're they're not fixing the issue. They're just kind of like moving. Like there's just shit over the floor, and instead of like, oh, it's kind of like when you're a kid and your parents tell you to eat all your peas. So you just move the peas over so it looks like there's a gap there. So it looks like you ate some. That's all we done. That's all they did. They just moved some shit around. They didn't actually fix the shit.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't love it. But I get it, but I don't love it. So, um, yeah. So rest in peace, Stroke the dog. All right. Well, let's move on here, Gables. Some other news this week. Beta 4 apparently is confirmed. I don't know. Hideki Kamiya tweeted, who's the direct, I think the main person that runs Platinum, tweeted, "I didn't think it was unexpected." So a lot of people, I guess, are pretty upset about the Bayonetta 3 ending. I didn't like it, but I wasn't like upset about it. I just like that's whatever. I don't want to spoil it for people, but it was like okay. I guess that's an ending. Um, if you want me, Gables, I can. You want me? Do you want me to say the ending or no? I can.
Nah,
Okay, I don't know if you want to play the game or not.
nah. I kind of feel like I'm gonna play the game eventually, so I'm not gonna
Okay.
spoil the ending for it.
All right, but it wasn't great. But like I guess a lot of, like people that are really into the story did not like it. So Kamiya tweeted out. Kamiya's kind of seems like kind of a douche on Twitter. I didn't think it was unexpected at all, but it seems that the ending of Beta 3 wasn't conveyed correctly to everyone, which is hilarious because they made the game. It's like if it wasn't conveyed well, it's because you didn't do a good job of it. Anyways,
That's funny. Just thinking that.
so I think Bayo 4 will be unexpected development. After all, when Bayo 4 comes out, I'm sure there'll be people who say you added that as an afterthought. So I'll say it now. Pretty vague, but like I said, I don't want to spoil the ending to that game for people. But I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny. But Bayonetta 4, which it's one of the highest rated games of the year, and the game is very good. So yeah, it doesn't shock me. I don't know what's going to sell, but I don't know. It doesn't shock me there's going to be a fourth one, but it's kind of cool. It seems like they're announcing it or they're pretty confident there will be a fourth one. So.
There probably will be because of how not only highly rated and probably how well it sold on the Switch. We don't know the official numbers, but well, honestly, it's kind of indicating that it did fairly well from
Yeah.
what I've been hearing.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it's like a 90 on OpenCritic, so doing pretty good. Next up here, Mario Kart 8 Pack 3 got a date. It's coming December 7th. Wave 3 includes Maple Tree Way from Mario Kart Wii, Rainbow Road and Rock Mountain from Mario Kart 7, Boo Lake from Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Berlin Byways and London Loop from Mario Kart Tour. I'm actually a pretty big fan so far of these Mario Kart Tour tracks. I've been enjoying these more than like the remastered versions of the older ones. So I mean,
Right.
it helps that they're new, but like I'm surprised like how well made these tracks are. So excited to check it out. Coming out not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And Callisto Protocol, apparently they announced the season pass. So there was like a digital deluxe version that's out there, and like you can pay. There's a deluxe version you can buy as well. Like if you pre-order like GameStop or whatever.
Oh, there's a season pass thing for this?
Yeah, so I didn't realize there was like I knew there was like a deluxe version. I didn't realize it's a season pass though. So I don't know if that was confirmed before this, but so the season pass includes story DLC that will dig deeper into the horrifying secrets of the Callisto Protocol, the Outer Way skin collection, and 2 new modes brought about through the Contingent and Riot bundles. The Contingent, whatever bundle includes the 13 new death animations alongside what sounds to be the game's most difficult mode. This Contingent mode has reduced ammo and health drops, a customized difficulty, permadeath, and another skin collection. The Riot bundle includes what sounds like a survival mode where you gather credits to upgrade your weapon or forge new ones and survive the onslaught as long as you can in the Riot. So also has like different enemy and death animations, stuff like that, and different skins. So it's kind of like started some hubbub here that was it Glenn Schofield? He was the director of this game. Had
Yeah.
to go out because people were like, "Why are you putting these all these different death animations into paid DLC?" But he did come out and say that they haven't started working on these death animations yet, but there's just ideas they had later on, and then once the game comes out and the season pass comes out, then they're gonna start working on them. So they're not like withholding
Oh, I
them for
see. I
later. But
see.
Gables, I'm just gonna talk about. I'm just gonna say it now. The game comes out Friday. I am officially extremely worried about this game.
Oh yeah. And why is that?
So I've been doing some Googling, doing some searching around, looking about on Twitters, as I do.
Hmm.
You want to know when? So the game comes out Friday, December 2nd.
Yes.
Do you want?
Yes.
Do you want to know when the review embargo is?
No.
The
I mean,
review.
yeah. Go ahead.
It's Friday.
The same day as the
The,
release.
yes. So that means the game comes out like 11 o'clock Central Time.
Oh
The
boy.
reviews don't go up till I think it's like 10 o'clock or something like that, like 9 or 10 o'clock Central Time. So the game will have been out for nearly 12 hours by the time the reviews go out.
Interesting.
We just talked about Pokemon reviews, them not coming out until Thursday,
At
like in
least
the
they gave
morning.
them a week to play the game and stuff like that
Well, no,
before
no, no.
it
So
released.
the people, the reviewers have the game,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but the reviews don't go up until
Okay.
Friday.
Oh, okay.
So that's what
Hmm.
concerns me is the fact that how many times have like the reviews gone out for a game the same day of the game launches and that be good?
Incredibly high. Incredibly high, dude. I
The
mean, for
high
God's
chance this
sakes.
game is not gonna be good, or it's
That's the
like there's gonna
thing.
be some issues at launch.
There's probably going to be some issues. I mean, come on, the review embargo on the same day as the release date. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I
we've
mean.
heard of it games in the past,
You
dude.
could physically buy this game and stream yourself playing this game and probably beat the game on Twitch before the review embargoes come out. So before the reviews go up. So I'm not feeling great about this. Um, yeah, so I'm that concerns me. Um, either I don't know when the people got the codes, so either the people got the codes super late, which also isn't great, or the game's just bad, or they just really fucked up this review embargo thing. But yeah, like I said, when the game you can buy the game before the reviews go out, that usually does not mean good things. It's like the what's that
Hmm.
Harvestella? The
Uh-huh.
reviews, the review codes didn't go out. The developers didn't get the review codes until the afternoon the game came out. So, uh, I mean, not a
Oh,
great
that's
sign, you know.
horrible.
Um, also, but last but not least, here, Gables, um, famous YouTuber Sakurai. Um, I don't think he's famous. I don't think he's done anything else. Um, teased potentially a Kid Icarus Uprising port coming to the Switch.
I've been
Uh,
hearing about this.
so people that may not remember, or maybe don't know, or whatever, but we talked about this about a year or so ago.
Yes, we did.
That apparently Namkai Bandai,
Namco Bandai.
whatever. It's it's Namco. Um, apparently they were doing like hiring people, and in like the hiring stuff, they put in there like they're like remastering a Nintendo game from the 3DS. And kind of people do some Google search and do some looking around. Found it. It's supposed to be the Kid Icarus Uprising game, which was the 3DS launch game. That kind of unfortunately came and went because unfortunately the 3DS had a pretty bad launch. And by the time by the time the 3DS price came out, price went
Yes.
down, and they actually had good quality games coming out for this thing. I feel like that game just kind of came and went. Also, you had to buy that stupid fucking like $50 adapter to properly play the game that you put put on your 3DS. Like the extra analog stick or whatever. But for everything, people always said this game's actually very good. Just kind of missed its window. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. They bring it back. It's like we haven't had like a proper Kid Icarus game. Besides this one, obviously, since what Game Boy was
NES and
Game Boy
Game
the last
Boy.
one?
The Game Boy was the last one. That was the sequel to the original one. The Game Boy one was Of Myth and Monsters. I played a little bit of
Yeah,
that one,
I
I
was terrible at
remember.
that game. I was way too dumb for that game when I was like 5.
I think I still have that copy of that card somewhere. But
I just remember you going up. It was weird. It blew my mind.
as far as this goes, I would absolutely be on board with a total like revitalization, redone thing of Kid Icarus Uprising. Because I'll tell you what, Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS, that's a great 3DS game, but it's marred by those freaking control gimmicks. That was a terrible idea having the freaking control that the little stylus thing being your camera going through and
No,
going through
I
like that.
forgot about this.
That
Yeah,
is the
yeah, I
sole
remember hearing about
reason
this.
why. That's the sole reason why a lot of people were turned off immediately from this game is because this is a game that needs twin analog sticks in order to have success, to be fairly successful and stuff. And that's part of the reason why they shipped the damn stand with the damn game when it
Yeah,
launched. I have a fucking stand. you literally put my old 3DS on, right? And then, you know, I still have this damn thing to where
Jesus
it's like you
Christ.
set it on the damn thing, you have the stylus on here, and that was to keep from people fucking having hand cramps and that shit when they were having handle mode. So, would love to play this game on the Switch if it ever does come out? Yes, I would, because in the crux and everything, this game is fantastic because the gameplay is quick and fun. A lot of the bosses and a lot of the enemies are freaking crazy as well. A lot of them are like remastered from like the original Kid Icarus game and stuff, and the bosses and stuff, and all the other shit and stuff. But you get all these random like cool weapons. There's a lot of different types of like things you can go and do in terms of their action stages and stuff. I mean, that's basically what they were. They were like some of them were on rails and stuff, but some of them were like great action games and like great action sequences in general inside of Kid Icarus Uprising and stuff. So it's like if Namco Bandai is helping doing that, and what's kind of hilarious if they are doing that, plus Sakurai said, "Whoa, I wonder if that thing will be ever be like remade or something like that fairly soon or whatever." I mean, I'd be on board, 100%.
yeah,
I'd be on board with that because I've played a fair amount of Kid Icarus Uprising. I enjoyed what I played besides the controls. That's what kept me from beating it. And well, you know what? I'd be really up for another chance to delve into Kid Icarus. Just
yeah,
in general, the franchise, because
yeah.
that's very underappreciated.
We do have to be careful though. This is a YouTuber and whether they know, as far as like leaks and rumors. We hear about this, people leak shit all
Yeah.
the time on YouTube and don't actually know. So, I mean, what did Sakurai have to do with Kid Icarus? It's probably not a lot. Um, but I think that will wrap it up for us this week, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like all that, like I said at the top of the show, please like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, click the bell,
Click the
um,
bell.
click, ring the bell. I don't even know what the hell that was. I was at the grocery store the other day, Gables,
Yeah.
and there was this lady that said hello to me, but she had like an English accent,
Yeah.
and I don't know why, Gables. I went hello, and I don't know why. I don't know why I did
Oh my
it.
god,
I don't know
dude.
why I did it. It was totally embarrassing. We didn't say another fucking word to each other the rest of the time. Luckily, I only bought like 5 things.
You just went immediately out of the damn
I
grocery
was just
store
like,
after that.
yeah,
Okay, well that happened.
just keep pushing the cart through and just walk out. And like, I don't need this stuff.
Hello, do you need a spot of tea?
I don't know why. I thought like I think in my head she did it like she was being sarcastic, and then I was being like, all right, we're being sarcastic British people. Hello, and she was actually whatever the fuck she was. I don't know, Scottish. They all said the same to me.
She probably
Uh,
was super pissed.
yeah, she was that. Yeah, and I was like, well, maybe I could play this off like I'm also actually British, but I'm like I can't. I don't have an. I can't. I can't do an accent. Like this is me. I can't talk. I can do a half-ass Peter Griffin laugh. That's all I got. So yeah, that was my embarrassing moment. But anyways, Gables, I don't know what that was about. But anyways, thanks again for so much for listening. So much for listening. Oh, no, I can't talk now. Thanks so much for listening. Let's get out of this hellhole. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, have yourself a fun time, play some fun games. Thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds podcast. And one last thing of note, rest in peace, Jason David Frank. The
Very good.
original Green Ranger, White Ranger. He also played as Ranger. He played multiple different Rangers across Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and stuff like that, and that whole franchise and stuff. But big influence upon myself and also for millions of kids around the world and stuff like that. So to him, thank you for the memories. childhood, my childhood, honestly, was fantastic because of watching people like Jason David Frank battle monsters week after week and doing this and doing that. So yeah, toast to you, Jason.
Just you, Jason. Bye, guys.
See ya.